Good afternoon, boys and girls. Andy Ragg here. I've been nominated by Ginger Bushcraft for the First Aid Kit Challenge. Here's my first aid kit. First aid kits, should I say. Okay, we're talking about first aid. Anybody that knows me from my time in the TA will know that I spent some time as a patrol medic. So I've had quite a bit of first aid training, you should say. So that's obviously reflected in some of the stuff that I carry. And what I tend to do is have two sets of gear. I've got a set of gear that I carry in my pocket just when I'm out for a walk in the local area, in the local woods out the back of the estate. And then obviously a larger first aid kit that I take with me into the hills and when I go into the forests and do wild camping and try my hand at bushcrafting, that kind of thing. So let's look at this stuff first. So in this bag, compeed, because you can't ever stress the importance on your feet, so make sure you've got some blister protection. And in this small waterproof case, I think these are for cigarette boxes. In here I've just got a small selection of items ranging from a needle and thread to a small vial of potassium permanganate, an assortment of plasters, some painkillers, antihistamines, antiseptic wipes, just so that if anything happens while I'm going out for a walk, I can deal with it. Obviously I always have my phone with me as well, so I can get in touch with somebody. What's my favourite bit of gear in here? Well, we'll come on to my favourite bits of gear when we've had a look at the big stuff, but that's what I carry like in my smock pocket, in my coat pocket, just for half an hour. That's in a nice waterproof bag as well. Let's get that out of the way. This is the Life Systems Mountain First Aid Kit. When I was looking for a big first aid kit, I wanted something that I could take out onto the hills with me and basically look after other people. I do tend to do a lot of walking on my own, but obviously going out into the Peak District is a very popular place, and the chances of me coming across somebody that's injured are quite high. The other thing is, when I go out on the wild camping stuff with the guys, the chances of one of us getting hurt through a number of mechanisms of injury is quite strong. Obviously, if you consider the type of activities that we undertake in the woods, we'll be cutting and processing wood using anything from axes to saws to sharp knives, feathering stakes, that kind of thing. So obviously cuts, splinters, blunt trauma. Obviously if somebody misses with an axe, you've got the incision from the axe blade itself, but also any damage that could be done from the blunt trauma of the axe head itself, to things such as burns because we're making fires, scalds. You're looking at stomach related illnesses, because obviously if food isn't cooked properly or water's not prepared correctly, stuff like that. Obviously in the woods there's a chance of any kind of little beastie coming in and having a go at you, with the chance of either infection or allergy to the bite itself, or just pain from the sting. So that's what's in here. I just had a quick run through of the stuff in here. So this is quite a comprehensive bag of stuff. It's not all inclusive, it can't be, obviously, because it's quite a small package in the grand scheme of things. So we've got a light stick. Obviously I'll have a torch with me most of the time, but being able to hang a light source over a branch or something so that you've got both hands free is quite convenient. And then in here we've got a number of different types of dressing, from the self-adhesive melalin pads to the That's just fabric adhesive strip, you know, like the kind of stuff that the fella at the bottom of the market used to sell out of a suitcase on a Saturday morning when I was a kid. Yeah, that kind of stuff. This isn't that, by the way. You know, I've got a pair of clothing scissors, so if somebody hurts the leg and we need to peel back the clothing to get the injury, I've got the ability to do that safely. Okay, what we don't have in here at the minute, because I used them the other day on my shoulder, is some steri strips. They would normally be in here, and obviously we've got some more blister pads. We've got a selection of over-the-counter drugs, such as paracetamol, ibuprofen. Don't just carry those for the sake of it. You know, understand that they are two specific kinds of drug. One does vastly different things to the other. It's not all about pain relief. I've also got in here more antihistamine. Let's just have a look. I've got, yeah, fucocordamols, diarrhea sachets in case anybody comes down with a runny bum. Yeah, we've got antihistamine. Oh yeah, and some Imodium instants, obviously, for treating the other end, if somebody does come down with a bug of some description. And also in that pack, I've also got the drug information sheet. So particularly for the stuff that I don't use very often, for stuff like paracetamol and ibuprofen, I'm not so bothered. But it's the other stuff that I carry that I don't use that often. I just have a quick scan through to make sure that I'm not going to give somebody something, or I'm not going to take something myself. Let me just make one point. These drugs are in this bag. If other people take them, they take them on their own volition. I'm not going to prescribe anything to anybody. I can't do. I'm not a doctor. Only doctors can prescribe drugs. You know, it's all about common sense. If somebody's got a headache, there's paracetamol in this bag if they should feel they need to take it. Right, moving on. We've got a selection of bandages for different types of use. So there's the finely woven bandages for securing gauze pads. There's crate bandages for providing stability to sprains and joints and joint injuries. There's eye pads. And I think also in here there's a triangular bandage, so don't forget the old venerable triangular bandage for immobilising arms. But you can also make a ring bandage out of it if somebody's got a polio on their head, that kind of thing. Moving on, we've got quite a number of hygienic wipes in here, the alcohol-free variety. There's some burn gel. Not really used this before. I mean, when I did my training, we were always taught not to use anything on burns other than water for cooling. But it looks like there's been some advances in medical technology, and this stuff contains tea tree oil. So I'm going to be interested to see how that works when I get burnt. Obviously, I'm not going to simulate that exercise just for the sake of it. And we've got some zinc oxide tape, some micropore tape, some tweezers, a thermometer, some safety pins. I'm just wondering if there's anything else in here. Oh yeah, there's gloves, a couple of pairs of gloves for treating people that got, you know, bloody injuries. You don't know what somebody might be carrying, so always think about yourself first. And I think that is it. There's one or two things in here, or that I don't have in here, that I want to add. Obviously the steri strips are missing because I used them the other day. I need to add some eye irrigation ampules. Obviously the chance of somebody getting something in their eye, either a hot spark off the fire or maybe a bit of wood debris while we're chopping and doing stuff like that. That's always likely in those scenarios. So having a bit of eye irrigation. I mean, worst case, you can just use water. I mean, I always have plenty of water with me in my water bottles. I don't use anything in the water bottles other than water. I'm not one of these guys that puts fruit drinks in a water bottle or tea in a water bottle. All that goes in my water bottles is water, straight out the tap. So You know, in that case, at the moment, I would use just fresh water out of the water bottle. But obviously, having sterile water in an ampule in this kit it's going to be a little bit better. I know people are probably going to feel a little bit better about me washing their eye out with some sterile, non-sterile water rather than stuff that's just come out of my water bottle. Okay, so that's my big first aid kit. One other thing that's not here is a SAM splint. That's normally inside my rucksack. Now, a SAM splint is basically a piece of thin aluminium with some foam. It's just a foam back strip of aluminium. It's about that long, and you can fold it down. It's not very thick. It's very, very light, and it takes no space up in a pack. But one thing you can do with it is you can use it for immobilising arm injuries. So if somebody breaks their arm and you're up on a hill, and the chances of getting an ambulance to them or getting them to professional first aid and first response is going to be a while, then you can use a splint to immobilise that limb and crack on. Anyway. Okay guys, I spoke about the SAM splint, so I went and dug it out. Here it is. Basically, as you can see, it's a strip of foam with an aluminium core. And it can be basically bent into shape to support a limb, like so. And then obviously you can wrap a dressing around the arm and it can support that bit of the arm, and then obviously use a sling or something to do all that. So I just thought I'd show you that. It normally sits, it's normally bent that way, and I just slide it in down the back of my rucksack. What do I consider to be my 3 favourite things when it comes to talking first aid? It's not this stuff. This stuff is nice to have. This stuff helps, but this stuff, whilst it's nice to have and it helps, if you haven't got it where it counts, it's not going to really do much, and it's not going to help that much at all. And in fact, it could actually hinder you. So, what do I think are the 3 most important things for first aid? Number 1, the right set of skills. Having this stuff's great, but you need to know how to use every single piece of it. You need to obviously know the primary skills when it comes to first aid. So you're talking casualty resuscitation and immobilisation and stabilisation. What do I mean by that? Artificial respiration, cardiac compression, putting somebody into the recovery position if that's appropriate, and then keeping them warm until somebody else turns up that can deal with it. Know how to deal with bleeding. Alright? Sticking plasters on something that's just a little nick, that's great, but you need to know how to deal with serious bleeding. And what do I mean by that? I mean arterial style bleeding. You know, you've got coming out, you know, you've got a spurt on. If that happens, you need to deal with that. You need to deal with it absolutely immediately, because if you don't, somebody's going to die. Okay, so know how to deal with arterial style bleeding. So you're talking about direct pressure, you're talking about dressing wounds, not removing wounds if the bleeding breaks through, and then just piling it up. One thing I don't have in here is I don't have what we used to call a first field dressing. A lot of the guys now are carrying around the Israeli combat dressings, exactly the same thing. It's just a big dressing with a bandage designed to hold a pint of blood. Alright, that's what it's for. So I don't have one of those, going to get one. But again, know how to use it. So if you don't feel confident in first aid, speak to somebody who does, get some informal training. Better still, go on a course. If you've got first aid at work courses available to you, go on a first aid at work course. You'll learn about first aid there. So get prepared, okay? Being prepared is what it's all about. Ask Prep Nomad, he'll sort you out. Okay, having the right skills is great, but you need to keep a clear head. This is point number 2. Don't panic when it happens, alright? The worst thing you can do in a situation is start to panic, because when you panic, you not only become a danger to the person that you're treating, you become a danger to yourself. I think that's pretty straightforward. Maintain a cool head and things will get through. You'll get through it, you will. It might cause you stress later on as to what actually happened and how it happened and the results of what happened, but keep your head, things will work out. And finally, number 3, don't think you are Dr. House, alright? I'm not Dr. House, I'm not an expert. The last training I received was probably in 1999, which was the year I actually left the TA. So that's a long time ago, alright? I still know how to recover a casualty. I still know how to put a dressing on. I've been doing it on myself for every year since, when I've got banged up, and trust me, I've had some really good nicks on my hands. I've had some really good injuries on my ankles and my legs and stuff like that since. So I know, yeah, I told the missus how to dress me. So it's not doing bad, by the way, thanks for asking. So yeah, know when to call in the pros. So if it looks absolutely crap, get on the horn straight away. If it's something that you think you can deal with it. If things turn bad again, then shout for help, okay? Nearly everybody has a mobile phone these days. It's got to the point where we take the things for granted. So if you're going to carry a mobile phone into the hills, make sure you've got a spare battery. Okay, so those are my 3 things. Have the right training, keep a clear head, and know when to call in assistance. Those are my 3 things. Everything else is icing on the top. You know, you can improvise with the stuff you have around with you. If you don't have a big first aid kit like this, you can, you know, the simplest way of stopping somebody bleeding is to put your thumb over it. So that's your number 1 piece of kit. Put your thumb over it and hold it up high, and that's really hurting my shoulder. So hold it like that, you've got direct pressure and you've got elevation. Simple. Okay, hope you've enjoyed that little rant. Better get around to tagging somebody now. So thanks again, Mike, Ginger Bushcraft, for nominating me. I'm going to nominate the following. So first on the list, he's a guy I've actually met in real life. We went for a camp at back in January before I had the operation. Lovely guy, really genuine guy, gets a lot of stick, but that's unnecessarily. You know, people sit behind the keyboards on YouTube and basically like to flame anybody or anything that they don't agree with or whatever. But Ian has got he's got best intentions there. He's purely making videos to motivate people and to help people, to show people that they don't have to sit inside the house every day and get bored. You know, there's a life outside these 4 walls, and you know, you can go and enjoy it. Anyway, Ian Lawrence from Ian's vlog, go check him out. he's number one. Second one is Paul Messner. Hi Paul. Been watching your videos now for over a month at least anyway. Find them really good, really informative, love your style. Don't remember seeing anything to do with first aid, so here's a start for you. He's number two. And finally, Mr. Bushy Johnson. Been watching his videos now for a couple of months. Love his style, he's a northerner. I'm not going to assume he's from any particular part of the, the northeast. I just know he's from the northeast. Likes to do a lot of camping up that way, and also in the Lake District, which I love that part of the world. So yeah, I'd love to see what your take is on the subject of first aid and your 3 favourite things. So guys, crack on, have a go. Obviously nobody's expecting you to be an expert, and if you know very little, just admit it and go out and learn something. Okay guys and girls, I thank you for your time this afternoon. This is take 2 of this little section, so apologies. I'll get this edited up shortly, and hopefully we'll get a few views. So please like, share and subscribe, and stay tuned for more of me just doing what I do. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye bye.